Hello, treasure hunters. Welcome back to Movie Reviewed Official. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new videos. Let's dive right in. Today, we're reviewing one of the most iconic action-adventure films of the 90s, a movie so packed with sand, tombs, curses, and ancient Egyptian shenanigans that it's probably the reason why we can never go on vacation to Egypt without thinking of mummies. That's right. We're talking about The Mummy, the 1999 Brendan Fraser masterpiece. It's an epic saga of bad life choices, questionable archaeology, and a guy who can't catch a break, all set in the hot, sand-filled chaos of ancient Egypt. So grab your map, your trusty sidekick, and an absurdly large gun. It's time to dig up some ancient tombs. And remember, if you wake up a 3,000-year-old mummy, don't expect a thank you card. We start with a flashback to 1290 BC in Thebes, Egypt. The world is still black and white, and everyone's wearing ridiculous costumes. The people are really into mummification, and apparently everyone has a secret side hustle in the afterlife. This is way before TikTok, but Imhotep, our main villain, played by Arnold Vosloo, has figured out how to get the most followers. Become an ancient high priest, have an illicit affair with Pharaoh's mistress, and then get cursed for all eternity. Yeah, that sounds like a solid strategy to me. So Imhotep is basically the original bad boy of Egypt and is madly in love with Anck-su-namun, the Pharaoh's mistress, who also seems to have an unhealthy relationship with bad decisions. She, like every movie villainess, decides that murdering the Pharaoh and running off with her secret lover is a great idea. But you know what happens when you betray royalty? Things get messy. Pharaoh's bodyguards, the Medjay, arrive, but Anck-su-namun commits suicide. Imhotep decides he's going to resurrect her. Together with his priests, they steal her corpse and travel to Hamunaptra, the city of the dead, to conduct the ritual, but are stopped by the Medjay. This guy is so obsessed with resurrecting his lover Anck-su-namun that he ends up being mummified alive. You know, for someone trying to get the girl, he sure doesn't know how to make good life choices. Imagine the worst case of it's complicated on Facebook. This is that, but 3,000 years old with more blood and less texting. Imhotep is mummified and buried alive with flesh-eating scarabs, and his priests gets mummified too, with a bit of an eternity sentence that goes something like, "You will suffer forever, never to return from the depths of hell." Classic undead villain stuff. The Medjay are sworn to prevent his return, as his resurrection would unleash an unending evil. So, Imhotep's all wrapped up, lost, and waiting. And here's the thing, he's not just any mummy. This guy's got a real estate problem in the afterlife. He's so angry about not being able to fulfill his love life and his high priest duties that when he wakes up, oh boy, he's coming for everyone. Fast forward to the roaring 1920s in Cairo, and we meet Rick O'Connell, played by Brendan Fraser, who, let's face it, looks charmingly handsome. He's an American adventurer and treasure hunter who discovered Hamunaptra while in the French Foreign Legion. This man was made for desert adventures. His introduction is perfect. He just strolls into the scene like he owns the place, and let me tell you, that man owns Egypt. And by owning Egypt, I mean, he's literally the only one who can navigate this cursed landscape while looking like he's modeling for a desert-themed cologne ad. Now, Rick's the kind of guy who can shoot first and ask questions later, especially if it involves his inexplicable connection to ancient Egypt. He teams up with his sidekick Jonathan, played by John Hannah, who awkwardly steals anything not nailed down, and his sister Evelyn Carnahan, played by Rachel Weisz, the clever librarian and aspiring Egyptologist with a fondness for dusty old books. A nerdy woman who's about 10,000% smarter than anyone else. Jonathan's main job is to get into trouble, steal cursed artifacts, and make you wonder why he's still around. Oh, and somehow this guy always finds gold. He's got zero clue what he's doing, but he's just charming enough to make you want to keep him around. Jonathan presents his sister with an intricate box and map that will lead them to Hamunaptra, the existence of which was now considered a myth along with the treasures believed to reside there. He reveals that he stole the box from Rick, and Evelyn hopes to find the golden book of Amun-Ra. She bargains with the corrupt prison warden Gad Hassan to free him. In exchange, he leads them to the Lost City. On the way, they are attacked by an unknown group as they journey along the Nile, as well as upon reaching Hamunaptra and exploring the ruins. The attackers are revealed to be the Medjay with their leader, Ardith Bey, warning them to leave. And can we just acknowledge the chemistry between Rick and Evelyn? The movie's whole will they, won't they moment is like an ancient treasure hunt that somehow involves more sand than any human should ever encounter. So what happens? They accidentally discover the lost city of Hamunaptra. Oops. The thing is, you don't just find an ancient, forgotten city. Oh no. In Egypt, that's a big deal. Especially when the city comes with an ancient curse. If you're going to mess with curses and ancient tombs, maybe don't be surprised when it all goes terribly wrong. Of course, they're also fighting off a rival treasure hunter, not forgetting the worst person ever to have a friendship with, named Benny, played by the ever-comedic Kevin J. O'Connor, who's more of a cowardly weasel than anything else. His main trait? He'll betray you for a buck and is the embodiment of why you should never trust your guide in a desert. The trio accidentally discover Imhotep's remains, but unfortunately Hassan gets killed by a scarab he inadvertently releases thinking it's treasure. The other group comes across the Book of the Dead as well as 5 canopic jars. That night, Evelyn steals the book and reads aloud from it, accidentally awakening Imhotep. Both groups flee back to Cairo but discover that Imhotep was following them and had taken Benny as his helper. What does Imhotep do when he wakes up? Oh, he's angry, very angry. Imagine if you woke up after 3,000 years with a headache so bad that you could resurrect locusts and summon plagues. That's how Imhotep feels. He's bringing chaos and most importantly, he's bringing death. That's just what any man would do for love. Imhotep is on a quest to resurrect his love, who's been dead for thousands of years. Because, apparently, even an ancient priest with unimaginable power still believes in that one true love nonsense. But, unlike most people, Imhotep also decides to turn his enemies into mummies because why not make it personal? Within the city, it now becomes a game of how not to get killed by a mummy. Those who discovered the canopic jars are hunted down by Imhotep, restoring his human form while strengthening his powers. The survivors hide in the museum only to find Ardith there. Together they brainstorm and realize that Imhotep needs Evelyn as a human sacrifice to resurrect Anck-su-namun, and the only way to stop him is to go back to Hamunaptra to get the Book of Amun-Ra. The remaining take a plane piloted by Captain Winston Havelock, but crash due to a sandstorm conjured by Imhotep, which results in Havelock's death. After making it to the city on foot, they discover the Book of Amun-Ra but have to fight the resurrected servants in order to get to the ritual chamber. There's sword fighting of an ancient army of mummies with really bad breath, because why wouldn't there be? But Rick manages to free Evelyn while Jonathan uses the book to take control of the resurrected servants, who instead kill a partially resurrected Anck-su-namun. Now free, Evelyn uses the book to turn Imhotep to mortal, allowing Rick to wound him. Imhotep steps into the pool of souls that then consume him. While all this was happening, Benny was busy collecting treasures but accidentally triggers a booby trap that makes the city start to collapse. Benny tries to escape but gets trapped in the treasure chamber and is devoured by scarabs. Rick, Jonathan, Evelyn escape and find Ardith outside, who bids them farewell as they depart with the treasure that Benny had already plundered. But it's not all curses and chaos. Oh no, there's also love. Rick and Evelyn are like, "Hey, you just got nearly killed by the undead. Want to grab dinner?" In the end, we learn some valuable life lessons. 1. Never ever touch cursed treasures. 2. Avoid any archaeologist who can read ancient Egyptian text without knowing what they're getting into. The moral of the story? Never trust a guy who looks like he's just walked out of an embalming room. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more reviews of movies where people make terrible decisions, but still manage to look cool while doing it. Catch you next time.